topic called shared preference. So have you guys heard of shared preference? So shared preference is nothing but if you want to save some data in the form of key value pairs, like how we are doing it internally, right? I mean to say, within Android yesterday we have seen, right? While we are passing the data, some key value pair combinations we are passing to our intent, and we are retrieving it, right? Same way, shared preference also will be form of key value pair, but it will store in the persist form. I think you are getting my point, right? So we'll be storing shared preference always in the persist form. Persist form means even if my application dies. For example, yesterday you have entered some data in edit text and you are trying to pass the data to another edit text. And you are retrieving the same data in another screen and you are showing it. Okay. When you close the application and when you open the application, everything is blank. Your screen doesn't know what data you have entered previously, and then you need to enter new data. So shared preference will basically using shared preference you can store the data in some file format for that particular application, and then you can retrieve the data. That is the most important benefit of shared preference. For example, have you guys heard of cache mechanism? Cache mechanism in the sense, for example, if I try to open Gmail, right? So if I try to open Gmail, you guys were able to see my screen. Okay,
Yes, Karthik. Yes.
so for example, if I try to open Gmail, right? How is this guy opening? So how the my Gmail is opening? Why is it not logging again my username and password? Because my username and passwords are saved. My username and passwords are saved in Google account, and automatically it will verify whether I have logged in with the same username and password. If I log in, it will open the account. That's it. So where it is saving? So it is saving locally within the system. Similar way in Android also within your application, you can save the data using shared preference concept. For example, you have created a game called cricket game or Candy Crush, the famous Candy Crush game you have played. So Candy Crush, no internet is required. You'll be keep on playing. So there are total 100 levels in a Candy Crush. I have completed 10th level. When I close and open the Candy Crush app, how does it know again you are at 10th level? How does it know? Basically, it uses the concept of shared preference. Similarly, a cricket score, when you're playing something, how does it know that your highest score is this much? For example, you are playing some cricket game within your in your mobile, a cricket game app. So when you're playing a cricket game app, it will tell your highest score. Last time your highest score is this much. So you are unable to beat. How does it was able to tell all that? Based upon your shared preference? Using shared preference, you can store short amount of data using some functions called get shared preference or get preferences and all. So using these concepts, we'll be storing the files within our application itself, and you can retrieve even after closing your application also. Your data persists in your mobile and you can retrieve the data. So now today we'll see how does we do that. So let us create one example. Uh, so I'll be, as usual, new project, empty activity, next. So I'll just say shared preferences. So done. So perfect. It's creating for me. Wow. So done. So now shared preference is getting created. So once it got created, what I'll do again, as usual, I'll just design my layout first. So how do I design my layout? Simple thing. I'll explain you in the layout section what is linear layout and all. So as of now, as usual layout. Vertical. So I just want to save my username and password, and I want to pull it back to my shared preference. So how do I do that? So I'll just go here. I'll just add to edit text, username, and then edit text. So this is for password. I will add two buttons, one button to save and one button to read. So simple design. So I'll not complicate the things too much. So again, I'll go here. So I'll just say it underscore name, and then here I'll just say it password. So perfect. So I'll just give padding, means some layout margins I'll give on colon layout margin 10 dp. So on four sides we have that margin. Again, I'll give another 10 dp. So here also we have margin. So I'll give here hint instead of text. I'll tell you what is the difference between text and hint. So I'll just say enter your name. Okay. So here also text. Sorry. So I'll just say hint. I'll just say enter your password. So perfect. Next, here I'll just give this as a 60 dp height, Android column layout margin. I'll just say 10 dp. So again, I'll just give the same thing, 60 dp and 10 dp. So here I'll just change this text. So I'll just add it as save. I'll just add it as read. So so as of now, let it be one below the other. Uh, one below the other. As of now, I'll keep. Later on, we'll design in the upcoming classes when I teach you the layout side. We'll design it more beautifully. So let us keep like this. So next thing is like you need to first create a local. You need to map these controls with the local variables. So let us add on-click event handlers. So Android colon on-click on. Oh, so we'll just say this as a save button. We'll just say this as a read button. Save button. Click. So here same thing. Android colon on click on read button click. So same. You do mouse click here and do alt enter. Create. So perfect. Again come here. So alt enter. Create. Perfect. It has been created. So next what I should do, I need to pull the data from this to edit text. So how do I do that? I need to create first local variables. So I'll just create a local variable called mname equal to edit text find sorry find view by id r dot id dot it name. So I'll just say password equal to edit text find view by id r dot id dot it password. So, sorry. So perfect. Now we have linked. So after that, again, when it comes to red color, just do mouse click, alt enter, create field. So then you need to just copy this password and just add here. You can do alt enter also. If you do alt enter also, it will work. For example, you just do mouse click and you just say alt enter, create field. So perfect. Now this is also completed. So everything is done. So after that, we know how to pull the data from your dot get text dot to string. So now save. So here comes the actual part. Now you need to create an object for shade preference. And then after creating an object, you need to pull the data. So how do we do this now? So first, SHA shade. So shade preferences, create an object equal to get preferences of, so you need to give the file, you need to either give the file name and all. So there are two ways. I'll teach you the ways. So first thing, we'll just give this get preference, and we need to pass the mode. So you need to say context dot mode private. So you're telling this is a private mode, which is you are restricting it within this app, so that other users cannot above. So beyond this app, no user can read this. So after doing this, what you need to do, right? You need to have an editor. So how do you do that? Shared preferences dot editor editor equal to shared preferences. So this object. So instead of, I think it will be confusing. So I'll just share. So I'll just say this as preferences. So you need to say here as preferences dot edit. First, you need to open the edit like paint and all. No, first you need to open the brush, and then when you are writing a code, you need to open the brush and then edit mode, and then you will be start drawing the designs, and then you will be saying commit same way. So you need to open in editor mode, and then you will be putting the key value pairs. That's it. Simple. So I'll just say editor dot put string. So put string of. So my key is name. So I'll just say instead of name, let us name it as username. Okay, username is my key. Comma, what is my value? My value is whatever I enter here, right? So my local object is this one. Again, same thing. Got get text dot to string. So done. So next editor dot put string of. So I'll just say password, comma. So what do? M password dot get text dot to string. So that's it. Simple. I'm getting the data from this two controls. So after pushing it to the editor, I'll just say editor dot commit. So this is a very, very simple piece of code to save your data, username and password into this, okay, into your shared preferences file, and then you need to read it. So initially, when you close and open the app, let us read it and put it on your. I mean, again, you put it on your app. So how do we do this? So it is a very simple thing. So how do you read is like shared preferences log share preference equal to get preferences of and text dot mode private. So since you have opened in private mode, again within this application you will be opening in private mode. After opening in private mode, you need to just fetch the data from this. So how do you fetch the data? Simple thing. I'll create a local variable. So I've created an temp variable equal to yes references dot get string of. So what is my key here? User name, okay, comma. So for example, you need to pass your default value. Default value means by default, if there is no data available, if there is no key or nothing is available within your application, so you need to pass your data saying that no data available. ఇది మీకు చూపిస్తాను ఎలాగ ఇది ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ అవుతుందంటే సో వెన్ యూర్ రన్నింగ్ ఇట్ ఫర్ ద ఫస్ట్ టైమ్ వెన్ యూ ఇన్స్టాల్ యువర్ యాప్ ఫర్ ద ఫస్ట్ టైమ్ అండ్ ఇఫ్ యూజర్ click on it directly, since we didn't save any data into shared preference, it will be checking for this username, and that this shared preference does not contain username, so it will just say no data available since there is no key at all. Okay, so again, so I'll just say I'll just copy this and I'll just say temp password. So I'll just lock it as password. Same thing, no data available, I'll say. So now after getting this, you can save it to your, to this editor again. So you can, I mean, the local edit text. So m name and m password. So once we have m name dot simple set text of temp name. Similar way, m password dot set text of temp password. Perfect. So that's it. So let us run this app and see how actually the shared preference works. Mm, so I need to change my Gradle. So I'll just see here. Perfect. So let me run the app. Wiser. See, this is for persistent. Again, I'm telling after closing your application also your data will persist. There are a lot of existing use case where you can take and you can see how to work on this. For example, right now I told you, right, like games, like login screen of your app. So every time a user need not enter username and password every time. Once he has logged in, you can remember that username and the password. You can save it to your shared preference, and you can check whether any username and password exist in the shared preference. If it exists, you say perfect. So yes, username password exists directly. You fetch to home page. So that example also I'll show you now. For example, by default, I will just click on read button. So what do? I click on read button. Since there is no shared preference, directly it will come as no data available. So what I'll do now, I'll just remove this. I'll just remove. If you click for the first time I install, na, so no data is there, so it will come as no data available. So I what I mean to say here is, for example, what is if I'm simply keeping here. For example, if I keep like this, I'm telling you an example. If I simply say I'm putting an empty string, after clicking on read button, a user does not know whether the data is there or not, whether the data exists or not. He doesn't know, right? So if you are specifying like this, so what does the user understands? A user understand that, oh, okay, there is no data saved inside the application, inside our application. I didn't log in till now. That's why it is showing this information like that. So your application should always be user friendly to the user. Okay. So this is how basically it looks like. Okay, fine. So now I think in this, let us save the username and password. So I'll just enter the username as anything. So I'll just say Karthik. So I'll just say Karthik.ch. I'll enter the password as 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay. So now what I'll do, I'll just click on save. So when I click on save, your application, your data is saved. So what we'll do, we can do like this. If you want to check whether it has been worked or not. So I just close the application. So I'll just open it again. Shared preferences, right? Shared preferences. I open the app again. Now I'll just say read. You got it? When I close and open the application, it is saving it again. For example, right now I'll change this data. I'll change this data to something else. PIOQ. I'll change. So once I have done this, I'll just say save. So now my data has been updated. So I'll just open this again. When I say read, you can see here, my data has been updated. So here, you can see two things here. So there are two things which we need to observe here. When I click on save, na, a user does not know what is happening, whether my data has been saved or whether my data has not been saved or what is up. So what you need to do, you need to give a toast message to the user. So we already seen, right? Toast dot make text off. How do you give toast dot make text off? First you need to give the I mean context. So how do you do that? Main activity dot this comma. So we can say that your data has been don't know what is this. Okay, so your data has been saved. Means you are giving some notification to the user. Earlier, for example, here when you basically say save, a user does not know what is happening, whether my data has been saved or not. So with this message, a user will get confirmation saying that yes, your data has been saved. So your data has been saved. Then after that, we need to specify the timing. So how much time we want, length, short, end, dot, show. That's it. This is very simple message we are giving this. So when you're reading your data, we can again say this. We can again say you can add one more toast here. Same thing. Your data has been successfully retrieved. So your user will always be happy with the information, with the information and the way how your app is more user friendly. Simple. So now let us run this app now. So same thing. If I run the app, so again I'm running the app. So that's what I'm telling. Each and every class is. So now when I click on read button, your data has been successfully retrieved. So you can see your data here. Perfect. So now what I'll do, I'll just change this username to something else and I'll just say save. Then your data has been saved.